Usually when we talk about scrolling through social media late at night, there's this underlying expectation of chaos.
Oh, absolutely. It's totally aggressive.
Right. You're navigating this incredibly crowded digital street. You see breaking news, then angry opinions, then somebody doing some frantic dance trend in a grocery store aisle.
Your brain is just burning energy.
Exactly. It's constantly shifting gears, trying to process all these disjointed inputs.
Yeah, it's absolute sensory overload. I mean, the platforms are structurally designed to keep you off balance. You're constantly guessing what the next swipe will bring.
We've been conditioned to expect that friction,
Right.
But then you swipe and suddenly you're paralyzed. The noise completely drops away.
The frantic editing just stops.
Yeah. You are just watching a video of someone slowly, silently pouring this thick, shimmering blue liquid into a crisp, translucent silicone mold.
It creates this really profound sense of deceleration. You are pulled into a state of aesthetic hypnosis.
Aesthetic hypnosis.
Yeah.
That is the perfect term for it, because you watch the tiny bubbles rise to the surface and pop. You watch the liquid slowly harden into a glossy solid.
And then there's that satisfying pull.
Oh, the wet snap of the silicone.
Yeah.
You watch the creator peel the mold away, and before you know it, 20 minutes have vanished. You've watched 15 of these exact same videos.
And you're suddenly deeply invested in the structural integrity of a coaster.
It's wild. You are emotionally attached to a floral drink coaster. Well, welcome to the deep dive. Today is Monday, June 1st, 2026, and we are looking at exactly how a creator engineered that specific state of mind to pull you in.
We really are.
Because today we're unpacking a highly confidential, utterly fascinating document. It's titled The Resin Empire Masterclass.
And, we really need to set the baseline here for you listening. This document, it does not treat art as some ethereal, unpredictable hobby.
Not at all.
It approaches the entire craft as a ruthless industrial science. We're going to explore the strategic monetization of resin art. But more importantly, we're looking at the professional pricing frameworks they use.
And how they use that aesthetic hypnosis.
Exactly. How they deploy that to build a highly automated global luxury brand.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I know you listening right now, you have found yourself trapped in one of those pouring videos on your feed.
Everyone has.
Right. You probably thought you were just watching someone's weekend craft project. But today, we are revealing the highly calculated business matrix running behind the scenes.
The numbers laid out in this masterclass are staggering.
Unbelievable.
We're talking about physical products that might require 5 minutes of actual human labor to make.
Yeah.
They cost less than $1 in raw materials, and they consistently yield over a 95% profit margin.
95%.
Yeah, which is an economic profile that software companies would kill for, let alone a business manufacturing physical goods.
So to understand how they command those margins and, how they bypass our logical brains to make us hit the buy button, we have to move past this dismissive idea that they are just pouring plastic.
Right, because it's not just plastic.
Yeah.
We need to look at the foundational chemistry that justifies a luxury price tag.
Yeah, because if I'm thinking about typical plastic, I'm thinking about a factory melting down tiny pellets, injecting them into a steel mold, stamping out 10,000 identical spatulas a day.
A standard assembly line.
Right, but this masterclass details a completely different process. It relies on combining liquid synthetic polymer resins with dedicated curing catalysts.
Yeah, those catalysts are commonly referred to as hardeners.
Yeah.
In the industry, you'll see it sold as a two-part kit. Part A is your resin, part B is your hardener.
And separately, they're just liquids.
Totally inert. You could leave them in their separate jugs on a shelf for years and literally nothing would happen.
Wow.
But the moment you mix them together, you initiate what the source calls a thermodynamic cross-linking reaction.
Okay, so I was trying to visualize what that actually looks like at the microscopic level, because it's not like water freezing into ice, right?
No, not at all.
When water freezes, it's just a change in temperature causing the molecules to slow down and lock together. But this is a chemical transformation.
Right.
It's more like, okay, imagine taking a giant swimming pool filled with millions of loose, slippery magnets. They're just sliding past each other, which is why the resin is a thick, viscous liquid.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Thanks. But the moment you pour in that catalyst, the hardener, you are essentially turning on a massive invisible magnetic field.
Right, and they snap.
Suddenly, all those millions of loose pieces violently snap together into a rigid, unbreakable, three-dimensional grid.
That is a fantastic way to picture it. And that snapping together, that bonding of the molecular chains, it creates a massive amount of physical friction.
Which creates heat.
Exactly. That friction generates heat, which is why it's a thermodynamic or exothermic reaction. The physical state of the matter is permanently altered.
It doesn't melt back down.
No. It goes into this reaction as a highly viscous, malleable fluid, and it emerges as an optically clear, shatter-resistant solid.
It's permanent.
The Masterclass explicitly notes that the goal is to mimic the physical properties of organic glass or polished crystal.
And what's wild to me is that the market value, according to the document, isn't actually in the hardened plastic itself.
No, it's the timing.
Right, it's in the resin's infinite capacity to be customized before that magnetic grid snaps shut. The creators view the liquid resin purely as an artistic suspension medium.
They're using that window of chemical transformation to trap physical elements in time.
So cool.
The creator manipulates chemical additives to build color depth, or they suspend intricate physical elements within the liquid.
Like what kind of elements?
The source lists high-end inclusions like metal oxides, raw mineral fragments, mica powders, custom chemical inks, and very delicate botanical specimens.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate for a second here, just thinking from a consumer perspective. If I am browsing an online boutique and I see a coaster with some dried lavender suspended in it, at the end of the day, no matter how cool the thermodynamic reaction is, it is still a synthetic polymer.
Yes.
So how on earth does this masterclass teach these creators to convince buyers that this is a premium luxury asset and not just, a cheap plastic trinket you'd find at a dollar store?
It all comes down to the concept of permanence.
Permanence.
Yeah. A standard manufactured plastic item is inherently disposable. It looks identical to 10,000 other items off the assembly line. But a resin art piece freezes a bespoke, one-of-a-kind moment in time.
So it's the uniqueness.
Exactly. You mentioned the lavender. When you suspend that lavender in high-grade, optically clear epoxy, you are isolating its delicate architectural texture. You're freezing it in a state of suspended animation forever.
Oh, wow. It's like a modern amber.
Yes.
You know how a perfectly ordinary mosquito, which is completely worthless on its own, becomes a priceless artifact if it gets trapped in tree sap that hardens into amber over millions of years?
That's the exact psychology.
This business model is basically manufacturing that amber effect on demand. They are taking a 50-cent dried flower, trapping it in this crystal clear grid, and elevating it to a high-ticket item.
The modern amber effect. I really like that. And to achieve that elevation, the raw materials have to be flawless.
Right, it can't look cheap.
The document specifies that to command these prices, creators must use resins that are UV stabilized, highly heat resistant, and completely non-toxic when fully cured.
Which means it won't warp if you set your hot morning coffee on it, and it won't leach chemicals into your home.
Exactly. But the versatility of this medium presents a real danger for the creator.
How so?
Well, when you can make literally anything, the temptation is to make everything.
Oh, right.
The hobbyist tries to make 50 different abstract shapes based on whatever mood they are in that day.
Just playing around.
But the Masterclass absolutely forbids this. If you want to build an empire, your product catalog must be heavily focused on high-demand, high-frequency consumer lifestyle items.
Right. The business has to be highly strategic about what they're actually manufacturing. And the document breaks this down into an incredibly detailed product anatomy.
It separates the empire into 4 distinct categories.
And what stood out to me is that each category isn't just a different shape. It requires completely different industrial engineering and chemical handling.
It really does. Let's look at category A.
Okay.
This is customized typographic art and monogram nameplates. We're talking about large, freestanding, solid block letters.
So like a name for a desk.
Yeah. Imagine the word Love E, or a child's name like SNOW, or a corporate acronym cast in solid, crystal clear resin with intricate inclusions inside.
The commercial appeal of these is massive. The source notes, they are the go-to items for premium nursery decor, expensive wedding gifts, and corporate desk branding.
And it makes total psychological sense.
Right, because when you personalize an object with someone's literal name, the perceived value skyrockets. It feels completely bespoke.
But the manufacturing cost remains incredibly low.
But wait, making those giant letters must be tough, right?
The technical execution of these large block letters is actually really complex. You can't simply dump your resin, your gold foil, and your dried flowers into a silicone mold all at once.
Oh, because of gravity.
Yes. The Masterclass dictates a strict, multi-layered structural approach. If you pour it all at once, physics takes over.
The heavy items like the mineral fragments or metallic microbeads, they just sink to the bottom of the mold in an ugly clump.
Exactly. And the lighter items, like dried flowers, they'll float to the top and stick out of the resin,
Completely ruining that smooth crystal finish.
so you have to engineer it in stages. First, the creator pours an anchor layer.
An anchor layer.
Right. This is a shallow pour where they painstakingly arrange the heavy inclusions and the botanicals. They let that layer undergo its thermodynamic reaction and lock the items firmly in place.
So they literally glue them down with the first pour.
Pretty much. And once that anchor grid is snapped shut, they come in with the secondary pour.
The clear coat.
Yes, a highly transparent casting resin designed specifically to fill the rest of the mold and entune the anchored items perfectly.
And the absolute most critical detail here, according to the text, is performing this secondary pour without generating air microvoids.
In layman's terms, bubbles.
Right, bubbles. Bubbles are the enemy of luxury resin art.
If a consumer pays $80 for a custom nameplate and it is full of tiny, cloudy air bubbles, the illusion of polished crystal is instantly destroyed.
It suddenly just looks like cheap, flawed plastic. We'll get into exactly how they eliminate those bubbles in a minute, but I want to keep moving through the catalog.
Good idea.
Because if Category A is all about deep structural perfection, Category B completely flips the script.
It's all about speed.
Category B is monogram keychain pendants and alphanumeric accessories.
These are your micro sculptures, premium key rings, luggage identifiers, small luxury bag charms featuring a single letter like M or E.
And chemically, the requirements here are entirely different, right?
Entirely.
Yeah.
You are no longer focused on deep pours or intricate anchoring. The primary requirements are speed and immense surface durability.
Because if you are selling a keychain for $18, you simply cannot afford to wait 3 days for a slow curing epoxy to harden.
Your production pipeline would grind to a halt.
Right, so the Masterclass directs creators to use fast-curing polyurethane or specialized UV resins for these items.
UV resin is fascinating.
How does it work?
Well, instead of mixing two parts together to start a chemical reaction, it's a single liquid that only reacts when exposed to specific wavelengths of ultraviolet light.
Oh,
You pour it, you hit it with a high-intensity UV lamp, and it cures into a rock-solid state in literally minutes.
minutes. That allows for an incredibly rapid production turnover.
But speed isn't the only factor. I mean, a keychain lives a brutal life.
Oh, for sure. Thrown into purses, dropped on the pavement.
It is constantly being thrown onto tables, shoved into tight denim pockets, grinding against sharp metal car keys. The surface hardness has to be exceptional.
The document highlights the use of intense pigmentation and geometric glitter mixes to hide surface scratches over time.
Which is very smart.
But the real engineering challenge is the attachment point, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You can't just take a little dab of super glue and stick a metal keychain ring onto a flat piece of resin.
It would just pop right off.
The leverage of pulling keys in and out of a
Yeah.
pocket will snap it off immediately.
Right, so the Masterclass specifies the deep embedding of metal eyelets directly into the liquid resin before it cures.
You have to let the chemical grid snap shut around the metal hardware to handle that ongoing physical tension.
And commercially, these keychains serve a very specific strategic purpose. The Masterclass doesn't view them as primary revenue generators, even though the margins are high,
No, it categorizes them as entry-level lead magnets.
which is brilliant e-commerce strategy.
It really is.
Because if a customer discovers your brand on Instagram, they might be hesitant to drop $150 on a massive custom floral lamp.
But an $18 keychain with their initial on it.
Exactly. That is an easy, frictionless impulse buy.
It acts as a low-risk gateway into your digital storefront. It gets their email address, it proves your shipping reliability, and it puts a physical piece of your brand into their hands every single day.
And from there, you remarket to them and upsell them to the higher tiers.
Exactly.
Speaking of higher tiers, that brings us to Category C, which honestly I think is where the true, almost mad scientist artistic manipulation happens.
Oh, the coasters.
Functional luxury coasters and geometric trinket trays. These are flat surface display units, usually hexagonal, oval, or circular.
And the techniques outlined for these flat surfaces go far beyond simply dropping flowers into a mold. This is where creators essentially hack fluid dynamics.
Hack fluid dynamics, I love that phrasing.
The Masterclass details a highly sought-after aesthetic called the ocean pour.
I've seen these. They look exactly like aerial drone footage of ocean waves crashing onto a sandy beach.
Stunning.
You see the deep blue water, the lighter turquoise shallows, and these intricate, lacy webs of white sea foam. But they aren't painting that foam on, are they?
No, they are forcing the chemicals to create it organically.
How?
It relies on manipulating the specific densities of different tinted resins.
Okay.
The creator layers blue resin next to clear resin. Then they mix a batch of white resin. But crucially, they don't just use a white dye. They use a heavy pigment, usually something highly dense like titanium dioxide.
So the white resin is physically heavier than the blue and clear resin beneath it.
Exactly. The creator pours a thin line of this heavy white resin along the border of the blue and clear. Then they introduce extreme directed heat.
Usually with an industrial heat gun.
Right. The heat aggressively thins the viscosity of the resins, making them more fluid, and physically pushes the heavy white resin out over the lighter clear resin.
And this triggers a specific physical phenomenon. The document calls it inducing the Rayleigh-Taylor instability.
The Rayleigh-Taylor instability is a principle of fluid mechanics. It occurs whenever a heavier fluid is suspended over or pushed into a lighter fluid.
Because they fight each other.
Exactly. Because the heavier white resin wants to sink and the lighter clear resin wants to rise, they fight each other. As they displace one another, the heavy titanium dioxide fractures into these incredibly complex, cellular, lacy structures.
It perfectly mimics the organic chaos of seafoam because it is driven by the exact same physical laws of fluid displacement.
It is controlled chaos.
And they also use a similar principle for something called the alcohol ink petri dish technique, don't they?
Yes, in that technique, the creator fills a coaster mold with perfectly clear resin. Then they carefully drop vibrant alcohol-based inks onto the surface.
And because alcohol is very light, those colors just sit right on top of the resin?
But then they drop that heavy titanium dioxide white ink directly on top of the colored alcohol inks.
Oh, because it's heavy.
Exactly. The heavy white acts like a microscopic anger. It grabs the colored ink and aggressively drags it down through the clear resin toward the bottom of the mold.
And as it sinks, it leaves behind these wild, tendril-like structures.
When the resin finally cures, you have these vibrant, organic explosions permanently frozen in the middle of a clear coaster.
And these pieces aren't sold as novelties. The commercial positioning here is vital.
Highly vital.
The Masterclass explicitly targets affluent homeowners and boutique interior designers. These coasters are marketed as premium home decor that elevates a living space.
And then we reach the final tier. Category D.
The big one.
Architectural desktop lighting and ambient luminary pyramids. We are talking about massive, glowing geometric spheres or deep cast rectangular blocks with burning tea lights set into beds of suspended river stones.
If the keychains were about speed and the coasters were about fluid dynamics, Category D is all about managing severe chemical risk.
It really is.
The Masterclass warns that this is the most technically perilous category in the entire catalog.
Because to make a massive glowing pyramid, you have to pour a massive amount of liquid resin all at once.
Right. The document talks about single pours up to 5 centimeters deep.
And earlier we talked about how mixing the resin and hardener creates a thermodynamic reaction.
It generates heat.
Exactly. When you are pouring a thin coaster, that heat easily dissipates into the surrounding air. But when you pour a solid 5 centimeter thick block of resin, the heat generated in the center of that mass has nowhere to go.
It gets trapped inside the plastic.
It becomes trapped. The chemical reaction starts accelerating itself, generating more and more heat in a feedback loop.
The source calls this thermal runaway.
Yes.
If you use a standard countertop resin for a deep pour, the thermal runaway gets so extreme that the resin will literally smoke.
It can actually boil inside the mold.
Boil? That's terrifying.
But the most common disaster is that the sheer thermal stress causes the hardened plastic to violently crack right down the middle.
Or it severely yellows the plastic, instantly destroying $50 worth of materials.
So to prevent this, creators must use specially formulated deep casting resins. These resins are chemically engineered to react much, much slower.
So they don't get as hot.
Right. Instead of snapping shut and hardening in 12 hours, they might take 4 to 7 days to fully cure.
Wow, a whole week.
By stretching the thermodynamic reaction out over a week, the heat is generated at a slow, manageable trickle, preventing thermal runaway.
It requires immense patience. Furthermore, the creator has to precisely engineer the interior of the piece before they even pour.
Oh, the logistics are crazy.
Right, because if they want the pyramid to light up from the inside, they have to use silicone spatial inserts to map out exact cavities for LED wiring or custom candle recesses.
You're essentially building a complex, hollow architectural space inside a solid block of liquid while it slowly hardens around it.
Because of this extreme technical difficulty, the long curing times, and the sheer volume of expensive materials used, these items sit at the very top of the pricing hierarchy.
They are high-ticket interior statement pieces.
So those are the 4 pillars of the product line. But the Masterclass makes a crucial pivot here. It states that having a good design isn't enough to scale an industrial empire.
Not even close.
The execution has to be flawless every single time. And they provide an industrial benchmarks checklist that separates the high-earning professionals from the struggling hobbyists.
The core challenge of resin art is that it is a volatile chemical process subject to hundreds of environmental variables.
Like what?
Humidity, room temperature, dust in the air, all of these can ruin a piece. To guarantee consistent flawlessness, you have to engineer those variables out of the equation.
Right. We talked earlier about air microvoids, those tiny bubbles that ruin the crystal illusion.
Yeah.
The hobbyist tries to fix this by waving a little butane torch over the surface of the resin to pop the bubbles that rise to the top.
But the Masterclass says that is completely insufficient for industrial scaling. You cannot rely on surface popping.
What do they use instead?
You must use industrial vacuum degassing chambers.
This is where we bring physics into the manufacturing process.
Exactly. A vacuum degassing chamber is a heavy-duty steel pot with a thick acrylic lid connected to a powerful mechanical vacuum pump.
So the creator mixes their resin, which invariably whips millions of microscopic air bubbles into the liquid.
Right. And they place the entire mixing cup inside the chamber and turn on the pump.
And as the pump sucks all the atmospheric pressure out of the chamber, Boyle's law takes effect.
Yes. The pressure drops, which forces the tiny microscopic air bubbles trapped in the dense liquid to rapidly expand.
So they get larger, they become buoyant, they violently rise to the surface, and they pop.
You are literally pulling the air out of the liquid mathematically. When you take the cup out, it looks like a glass of still water.
It's just perfectly clear. Okay, what's the next benchmark?
The next benchmark is achieving crisp, perfectly level lines. Remember, liquid resin responds to gravity.
Obviously.
If your curing table is off by even 1 or 2 degrees, the resin will pool to one side of the mold. Your geometric coaster will come out lopsided, thicker on one side than the other.
You can't sell a lopsided coaster for $60. The customer will immediately demand a refund.
Exactly. So the Masterclass requires the use of mechanical leveling platforms.
These are highly calibrated surfaces equipped with multi-axis bubble levels and adjustable feet, ensuring absolute gravitational neutrality before a single drop of resin is poured.
And the final, arguably most important benchmark on the checklist is absolute UV structural yellowing resistance.
We mentioned earlier that luxury resin has to be UV stabilized, but the document gets highly specific about the chemistry here. It requires the integration of HALS.
HALS stands for Hindered Amine Light Stabilizers.
Right.
This is a critical concept to understand because it dictates the longevity of the entire business model. When ultraviolet light from the sun hits synthetic polymers, it acts like microscopic scissors.
Scissors.
Yeah, the UV energy physically snips the molecular bonds of the plastic chain.
And as those chains break down, it releases free radicals which tear through the material, causing it to become brittle and turn this awful sickly yellow color over time.
It ruins it.
If a customer buys a crystal clear memorial piece with their wedding flowers in it, and 2 years later it looks like a yellowed, decaying block of plastic, your brand reputation is destroyed.
This is where HALS comes in. It is a chemical additive mixed directly into the premium resins.
Does it just block the sun?
Actually, no, it doesn't block the UV light. Instead, it acts as a sacrificial scavenger.
A scavenger?
Yeah. When the UV light snips a bond and creates a destructive free radical, the HALS molecule instantly binds to it and neutralizes it before it can cause a chain reaction.
So it's healing the plastic.
It essentially heals the micro damage in real time, stopping the yellowing process in its tracks.
That is incredible. It's an invisible chemical shield built right into the matrix.
It really is.
That level of meticulous, invisible engineering, vacuum degassing, mechanical leveling, chemical light stabilizers, that is the infrastructure of luxury.
And that infrastructure is what allows us to move into section 3 of the Masterclass, the profit matrix.
The number.
Because having a flawless chemically stabilized product is useless if you don't know how to price it. And this section demands a complete, sometimes uncomfortable psychological shift from the creator.
It requires ruthlessly abandoning what the document calls the hobbyist mindset.
Right.
I think anyone who has ever tried to monetize a creative skill has fallen into this trap. The hobbyist mindset looks purely at raw costs. They think, well, I used $4 worth of resin and a $1 floral sprig, so it cost me $5. If I sell it for $12, I more than doubled my money. That's a huge win.
But the Masterclass violently rejects that logic.
Violently.
It argues that pricing based solely on material cost completely ignores the value of the transformation. Customers are not buying liquid chemicals in a plastic jug.
Right, they don't care about the chemicals.
They're buying the visual result, they're buying the aesthetic hypnosis, the emotional resonance of the personalization, and the preservation of the memory.
They're paying for the amber, not the sap.
Precisely. And that emotional disconnect between the raw chemical inputs and the final artistic output is what unlocks massive gross margins.
So what's the actual formula they use?
The document provides a strict professional pricing framework formula. Retail price equals material costs plus labor cost multiplied by a markup factor.
Okay, let's break that formula down because the discipline required here is intense.
It is.
First, material costs. This isn't a guess. The creator must calculate the exact volume of epoxy used down to the gram. They have to account for the exact amount of pigment, the metallic flakes.
And the hidden costs, too.
Right. It also includes the consumables, the plastic mixing cups, the wooden stirrers that get thrown away, the nitrile gloves they wear.
The specific cardboard packaging and protective foam used to ship the item.
Every single penny spent to physically manifest the item must be tracked.
Then we add the labor cost.
Yeah.
The text insists unconditionally that labor must be paid to yourself at a set professional hourly rate.
Like an actual salary.
Yes. The example they use is $25 an hour. You do not work for free, even in your own business.
So you track your time.
You track the minutes spent mixing, pouring, demolding, and packaging, and you add that cost to the baseline.
Okay, so you have your base cost materials plus labor, and this is where the Masterclass gets incredibly aggressive. The markup factor.
This is the secret.
To run a sustainable wholesale and direct consumer operation that can actually scale, the document states the markup factor must sit between a minimum of 3.0x and 5.0x.
3 to 5 times.
You multiply your base cost by 3 to 5 times.
That kind of multiplier is usually reserved for high-end luxury fashion houses, luxury cosmetics, or software as a service. It is nearly unheard of in small-scale physical manufacturing.
But the math in the document backs it up. Let's look at the comprehensive financial breakdown matrix they provide, because seeing the actual unit economics is mind-blowing.
Let's do it.
Let's look at that monogram keychain accessory again, the entry-level lead magnet. Let's run the formula.
Okay, average material cost for the keychain, including the resin, the glitter, and the metal hardware, 85 cents.
Wow.
Labor time, 5 minutes of active work, which at $25 an hour equates to about $2. The target retail price dictated by the matrix is $18.
An $18 retail price on an 85-cent material cost results in a gross profit margin of 95.2%.
That's 85%.
Let's move to category C, the 4-piece luxury coaster set.
All right, material cost for the resin, the heavy titanium dioxide, the alcohol inks, $4.50. Labor time, 20 minutes of active manipulation. Target retail price, $65. Gross profit margin, 93.0%.
It just keeps holding steady. Let's look at category A, the large custom word sign, like that block letter LOVE piece for a wedding.
Material cost, $6. Labor time, 30 minutes of precise multi-layered pouring. Target retail price, $85. Gross profit margin, 92.9%.
And finally, the technically perilous category D, the LED ambient flower light pyramid.
The big one, material cost. $12.50 for the deep casting resin and the internal electronics. Labor time, 45 minutes of active setup and pouring. Target retail price, $145. Gross profit margin, 91.3%.
Think about what we're looking at here. Across 4 completely different manufacturing processes, from a tiny keychain to a massive glowing pyramid, every single product category is sitting comfortably above a 91% gross profit margin.
It's astounding.
Why is that specific threshold so important to the overall empire?
Because margins like that provide supreme structural insulation.
Insulation.
Yes. If we look at a traditional retail business, say a local clothing boutique, They might operate on a 20 or 30% margin.
Which is pretty standard.
Right. But if their shipping costs suddenly double due to supply chain issues, or if the cost of raw cotton spikes, their profit is completely wiped out. They go bankrupt.
They have no buffer.
Exactly. But when your margin is 95%, you are nearly bulletproof against external economic shocks.
Because there's so much room to absorb it.
If the cost of epoxy resin increases by 20% globally, your material cost on a coaster goes from $4.50 to $5.40. You absorb that 90-cent hit without even blinking, and your retail price remains $65.
It gives you the operational freedom to make mistakes.
Exactly. To aggressively spend on marketing and to scale without fear of thin margins collapsing your cash flow.
But the Masterclass doesn't just rely on selling one keychain to one person at a time. It outlines a strategy of diversified revenue streams to maximize the overall valuation of the business.
It's a multi-tiered framework designed to capture value at every level of the market.
Let's walk through the tiers. Tier 1 is what we've been discussing, direct-to-consumer or D2C e-commerce.
These are premium individual sales driven via highly optimized Shopify storefronts. A customer sees your work online, clicks a link, and buys a coaster for their coffee table.
It's high margin, but it requires constant customer acquisition.
Which is why Tier 2 is so critical for baseline stability. Tier 2 is B2B, white label, and corporate gifting.
B2B meaning business to business?
Right. Instead of selling one coaster to a homeowner, the Masterclass teaches creators to target luxury real estate agencies, boutique hotels, and corporate award ceremonies.
Okay, let's look at the mechanics of a B2B sale. A luxury real estate agent wants to give a closing gift to clients buying $2 million homes.
A cheap bottle of wine is forgettable.
Exactly. But you approach them and offer a bespoke 4-piece resin coaster set with their real estate agency's logo elegantly suspended in the crystal clear resin alongside colors that match their branding.
You sell them a bulk order of 200 sets. They pay a slight wholesale discount, but because your margins are already at 93%, it doesn't matter.
You lock in massive, guaranteed cash flow from a single client.
The hotel buys 500 branded keychains for their room keys. It provides immense financial stability that protects the business when the D2C online sales have a slow week.
But Tier 3 is where the business transitions from a physical manufacturing company into a highly leveraged digital asset.
Tier 3 is the educational digital layer.
This blew my mind. The document says that once you have mastered the vacuum degassing, the Rayleigh-Taylor fluid dynamics, and the pricing matrix, you stop just selling the final product.
You sell the knowledge.
You package your entire operational process into premium, downloadable PDF blueprints, video masterclasses, and monetization courses.
You sell the exact blueprint we are reading right now to aspiring artists around the globe.
You aren't just selling the gold, you are selling the shovels to the miners.
And if we look at the unit economics of Tier 3, it breaks the chart.
Tell me.
The gross margin on a downloadable PDF is essentially 100%.
100%.
Once the document is written and hosted on your website, it costs absolutely nothing to duplicate it and send it to 10,000 people. It requires no resin, no vacuum chambers, no physical shipping. It scales infinitely.
Okay, so let's take stock. We have an incredibly profitable physical product line, insulated by 95% margins. We have lucrative B2B contracts, stabilizing our cash flow. We have digital PDFs ready to sell at a 100% margin.
A perfect setup.
But none of that matters, literally none of it, if no one knows your Shopify store exists.
Right.
How do you get millions of eyeballs on your products without spending your entire profit margin on traditional, expensive digital advertising?
This brings us to Section 4 of the Masterclass, the digital growth engine.
Marketing.
This section relies on a core tenet of modern e-commerce that completely redefines how we view marketing and product creation. The explicit quote from the text is, "Content is the product, and the product is the content."
I want to repeat that because it's the secret to the entire empire. Content is the product, and the product is the content.
They are fundamentally stating that the physical resin coaster, the thing you just spent all this time engineering, is actually secondary to the video of the coaster being made.
The video is the primary asset.
The physical item is merely the raw material required to harvest human attention.
Wow.
And to transform short-form video frames on TikTok, Instagram Reels, or YouTube Shorts into a massive free customer acquisition engine, you can't just set up a wobbly tripod and casually film yourself working.
Obviously not.
The Masterclass outlines a precise visual production strategy utilizing ASMR and aesthetic hypnosis to hijack the platform algorithms.
The document points out that resin production naturally falls into the category of satisfying content.
Yes.
The slow pouring of viscous fluids naturally triggers a calming, pleasurable sensory response in the human brain. It feels good to watch.
But to capture extreme watch time metrics, which is the only metric the social media algorithms truly care about, you have to distill that natural satisfaction into a strict, highly engineered formula.
The source breaks the filming process down into 3 distinct, non-negotiable phases. Let's walk through the formula.
Phase 1. The chemistry mix and pigment swirl. The visual rules here are rigid. You must use macro close-up lenses. You frame intense, highly saturated colors, slowly blending into crystal clear fluid.
The psychology of this is brilliant. The Human Visual Processing Center is highly sensitive to fluid dynamics and high contrast color movement.
Exactly. By showing that thick, syrupy viscosity swirling together, it creates an immediate hypnotic visual effect.
The explicit goal of Phase 1 is to physically stop the user's thumb from swiping within the first 2 seconds. If you don't hook the brain's attention in 2 seconds, the user is gone forever.
You hook them with the swirl, you build the tension.
And then we hit Phase 2, the Demolding climax. The document literally refers to this moment as the ultimate dopamine hit.
It is.
This is the specific scene where the creator grabs the edge of the flexible silicone mold and pulls the completely cured, perfectly glossy item free.
Think about the narrative arc of the video. The viewer has watched the chaotic liquid mixing, they have anticipated the chemical hardening, and the demolding is the ultimate resolution of that built-up tension.
The payoff.
The brain receives a huge hit of dopamine when the flawless, solid object is revealed. The Masterclass notes this must always be the emotional climax of the video.
And they provide strategic placement advice for this climax to hack the algorithm. You don't just put it at the end.
No, sometimes you put a 1-second flash of the demolding at the very start of the video. As a preview hook?
Like a flash forward to the end result, so the viewer's brain subconsciously knows the payoff is worth the 30-second wait.
Exactly. Or you perfectly time the wet snap of the silicone, pulling away to a massive musical beat drop or a trending audio transition.
But the visual manipulation is only half the strategy, right?
Right. Phase 3 is auditory ASMR optimization.
ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response.
It's a scientifically documented phenomenon where specific auditory frequencies trigger a tingling, deeply relaxing physical sensation in the scalp and spine.
And the audio engineering rules required by the Masterclass are intense. You cannot use the tiny, terrible microphone built into your phone.
Oh, definitely not.
You have to use dedicated high-gain shotgun microphones placed inches away from the resin.
And you must aggressively eliminate all ambient background noise. No cars driving by outside, no air conditioning hum, no refrigerator buzzing.
And a completely dead room.
The auditory landscape must be a pristine vacuum so that the only sounds the viewer hears are the hyper-isolated micro sounds of the process.
You capture the crisp, dry scraping of the wooden stirring stick against the plastic cup. You capture the sharp, aggressive pop of surface bubbles being destroyed by the butane torch.
And crucially, you capture the distinct, heavy, wet snap of the silicone separating from the cured epoxy.
And these specific frequencies bypass the logical, critical part of the brain and create an involuntary sensation of physical satisfaction.
It is a fully engineered, multisensory trap. You lock their eyes with the fluid dynamics, and you lock their nervous system with the ASMR frequencies.
It's totally hypnotic. But, okay, let's say you have executed the formula perfectly. You have this visually stunning, acoustically perfect video. You still need the platform's algorithm to understand what the video is about, so it pushes it to the right consumers.
Which is why the Masterclass doesn't leave the text to chance. It provides specific, high-conversion visual title templates and an incredibly rigid SEO blueprint.
SEO being search engine optimization.
Right, their title templates are fascinating to analyze because their sole purpose is to bridge the gap between the hypnotic visual art and the cold, hard commercial reality of a 95% margin.
Let's look at a few examples straight from the source. First, watch a raw fluid turn into a crystal $150 luxury nameplate.
Notice the psychological leverage in that sentence. It promises the visual satisfaction of the transformation raw fluid turning into crystal.
but it deliberately injects the high price tag, $150.
To establish immediate premium value in the viewer's mind before they've even seen the final product. It frames the craft as high-end luxury.
Right. It changes the context from craft time to wealth creation. Another template. Unmolding the most complex custom order I've ever designed, complete with a little diamond emoji at the end.
That title builds pure anticipation for the Phase 2 Demolding Climax.
Or, on the educational side, the exact chemical formula behind the perfect ocean wave effect.
That title is bait for Tier 3. It appeals directly to the learners, the other artists who want to buy your PDF blueprints.
But the most aggressive template, my personal favorite for its sheer commercial audacity, is turn 50 grams of liquid resin into a high-ticket luxury asset.
That is pure monetization bait.
Yeah.
It is completely irresistible to anyone scrolling TikTok who is interested in business, side hustles, or escaping their 9-to-5 job.
So the title gets the click, the video gets the watch time, but the description, the SEO metadata, is how you actually close the sale. The blueprint in the text is a perfectly engineered funnel.
Let's break down the exact template they mandate.
Sure.
The description must begin with an opening hook sentence. From liquid chemical compounds to a fully customized crystal masterpiece, watch the satisfying process behind crafting this bespoke monogram art piece, engineered with premium UV-stabilized polymers and metallic leaf inclusions.
Think about the vocabulary being used there. It sounds incredibly scientific, expensive, and exclusive.
It hits massive algorithm keywords like satisfying, bespoke, UV-stabilized.
Yeah.
It validates the luxury price tag.
Then, without missing a beat, it transitions directly into the call to action, the CTA. Secure your custom artisanal home decor piece today. Worldwide shipping available. Click the link in our bio to design your unique space.
The psychology of the funnel is complete. The viewer was stopped by the visual swirl. They were relaxed by the ASMR audio. They received a dopamine hit from the demolding climax.
They are in a highly susceptible state of sensory relaxation.
And right at that exact moment, you present them with a frictionless path to purchase the object that just gave them that feeling.
And finally, they bury the bottom of the description in targeted keyword metadata tags to feed the machine learning algorithms.
They use broad tags like #ResinArt, #EpoxyResin, and #SatisfyingASMR. But they also include commercial tags like #LuxuryHomeDecor and, crucially, #ArtoAsset and #GrafshMonetization.
They are intentionally casting a massive net that catches both consumers looking to buy a coaster and aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a business course.
It is a closed-loop system of attention harvesting and direct commercial conversion.
But if we follow the logic of this masterclass, this system raises a critical existential problem for the business owner.
It really does.
If this ASMR funnel works as well as the document claims it does, you are going to be drowning in orders.
Exactly. Let's play this out. You have a 95% margin product. You've hacked the algorithm, so your videos are generating millions of free daily digital views.
Thousands of people are clicking the link in your bio.
Suddenly, your quiet, one-person studio is breaking at the seams. You are working 20 hours a day.
You are frantically mixing chemicals, desperately trying to vacuum degas hundreds of cups of resin, boxing up keychains, printing shipping label.
Dragging heavy garbage bags full of packages to the post office every single afternoon.
You have successfully built an empire, but you have accidentally trapped yourself in a grueling physical labor factory of your own making. How do you escape?
That is the final essential section of the document. Scaling the horizon.
From a local studio to a global brand.
The true end game of the masterclass is not about hand-pouring resin for the rest of your life. The end game is complete operational automation.
The blueprint lays out 3 distinct steps to extract the creator from the physical labor trap.
Step 1. Outsource primary fulfillment to specialized logistics centers, often called 3PL, or third-party logistics.
So you stop boxing the coasters in your living room?
Instead, you utilize your B2B mass production techniques. You manufacture 1,000 coaster sets in a highly efficient batch process. You load them onto a wooden pallet, and you ship that pallet to a massive warehouse facility.
Now, when an order comes in through your Shopify store, the software talks directly to the warehouse. A worker there pulls the coaster off a shelf, boxes it, and ships it.
You have completely removed yourself from the daily shipping line.
Once the shipping is automated, step 2 focuses on community monetization. Transition your digital audience into a subscription-based insider club.
You are leveraging that massive audience you built with the hypnotic ASMR videos. Instead of just relying on them to buy a physical product once a year, you charge them a recurring monthly fee for access.
The recurring revenue model. But what are they actually paying for?
Exclusive video tutorials where you teach them the Rayleigh Taylor ocean pour, live Q&A sessions, early access to limited edition product drops before the general public sees them.
Or even access to your wholesale supply chain discounts. You turn your audience into an ongoing, predictable salary.
And finally, step 3, secure absolute supply stability by contracting directly with global resin manufacturing plants.
When you are a hobbyist, you buy a 1-gallon jug of epoxy off Amazon.
But when you are an empire, you bypass the retail markup entirely. You establish contracts with chemical plants to ship 55-gallon drums of raw, unbranded polymers directly to your facility.
You push your material costs down to the absolute floor.
Driving your 95% margins even higher, while guaranteeing you never run out of materials during a viral sales spike.
The ultimate transformation detailed here is profound. The text summarizes it with this core philosophy. By treating your resin craft not as a physical chore, but as a scalable digital ecosystem, you transform your raw physical effort into a high-equity, fully automated global asset.
You transition from being an artist who makes things to an executive who orchestrates a machine.
Wow. Okay, let's zoom out and look at the entire journey we just unpacked today. We started at the molecular level, examining how mixing UV-stabilized synthetic polymers and dedicated hardeners initiates a thermodynamic cross-linking reaction.
We looked at how to manage that exothermic heat to prevent massive crystal pyramids from experiencing thermal runaway.
We navigated the strict, uncompromising logic of a 95% profit matrix. We saw how adopting value-based pricing, calculating the exact cost of our labor, and implementing aggressive markup factors insulates the business from economic shocks.
And we explored how leveraging massive B2B corporate contracts and Tier 3 digital education products diversifies our revenue streams to build real wealth.
We looked at the psychology of the modern internet. We learned how to leverage the visceral physical reaction of ASMR, utilizing high-gain shotgun mics and macro lenses to capture the specific frequencies of a demolding snap.
We saw how engineering those dopamine hits tricks the social media algorithms into giving us millions of views for free.
And finally, we outlined the specific logistical escape route utilizing 3PL warehouses and subscription communities to scale out of the garage and into an automated global brand.
It is, without a doubt, one of the most comprehensive and ruthlessly efficient business blueprints I've ever analyzed. But as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder.
Please do.
Something that, for me, really crystallizes the overarching genius of this entire operation. The true brilliance of the resin empire isn't actually about the resin itself.
No. I mean, we just spent an hour talking about the chemical properties of it.
We did, but structurally, the resin is almost incidental. The true genius of the Masterclass is its realization that in the modern digital economy, the act of making the physical product is just the prop for the marketing.
The physical product is just the prop.
The real product being manufactured, the asset that is actually being aggressively mined, refined, and harvested, is the audience's attention through sensory satisfaction.
That is wild to think about.
The $65 coaster is ultimately just the souvenir the customer buys after experiencing the digital magic show.
The souvenir.
And if a process as fundamentally mundane as a viscous fluid slowly turning into a solid plastic can be repackaged into a highly leveraged 95 margin automated global asset, what other mundane processes in your own industry are just waiting to be monetized through the lens of aesthetic hypnosis?
What a question. I really want you to think about that in the context of your own career. What happens behind the scenes in your daily work, the spreadsheets, the logistics, the manufacturing, that someone else completely outside your industry might find totally hypnotic if it was framed the right way?
It's definitely something to chew on.
Next time you find yourself paralyzed on your phone, completely zoned out, watching a perfectly lit, silent video of a liquid pouring into a mold, I want you to remember, you aren't just looking at liquid plastic. You are looking at a highly calculated, flawlessly executed matrix of chemistry, psychology, and modern commerce. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the resin empire. Keep questioning what you see on your feed, keep exploring the hidden mechanisms around you, and we will catch you on the next one.